seeing as how you two are such close friends of mine, I'd just as soon not take a commission on selling your apartment. Company policy, though, can't waive that. But in this case, really wish I could. Welcome in to the Bro 4 Squad podcast, where we're just a bunch of bros drinking beer and talking movies. This is episode 129, and a very spooky episode it is. It's another one of our...
Oh my God.
Another one of our Halloween specials. I'm your host, the Mayor, Jeff Hornacek, and before we get into the movie discussion tonight, let's go around and meet the fellow bros. First, we go to our legal counsel, Ronnie Cycli. Cycli, now that we have you on retainer, I'm looking forward to suing any kids who fuck with my house this Halloween. So I need to ask, what kind of airtight waiver can I make anyone who trick-or-treats at my house sign to sue their ass for all they've got?
I really hate to tell you this, but Halloween is actually one night a year. Anyone can do anything they want to anyone's house. So you just got to let it happen.
So The Purge is a documentary, is what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, just on Halloween, absolutely. That's the first day of law school. I'm surprised I never told you about that.
Guys, first off, nothing you're about to learn in this class applies on Halloween. Just so you know. And next, we go in the paint to our enforcer, Matt Geiger. Geiger, All Hallows Eve is kind of like Christmas for someone like you who goes around looking for a fight. So when you find yourself at a Halloween party this year, what's one way to make sure you kick the shit out of someone in a costume that you know will make for the best story later on?
You know, Jeff, it sucks, and I hate to be the downer, here, and maybe 2020 has finally gotten to me, but Halloween was always about trying to offend somebody so they come up to me and cause a fight, and then I fight them. But I mean, you take away blackface, I can't dress as Native Americans anymore, or Washington Reds. I can't do anything. I can't even cross-dress. So, maybe I'll just hit on someone's girlfriend, but that's not 'tis the season. That's like watching a baseball movie on Christmas. So I'm open to ideas if you want to comment below. I'm open to anything.
So based on that, what's the season where you hit on someone's girlfriend? Like, when's that one?
Valentine's,
that's
obviously.
Every season except for Halloween, because usually you can just offend somebody with your outfit. So,
It's true.
I don't know. I'm lost for words.
You know what a classic is, though? You fight the guy who is wearing your same costume. That's a classic.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're like, well, one of us has to fucking change. You're like, well, not really. I mean, we could both just wear it. All right, well, if you guys have not listened to our show before, even if you have, we start every episode off with the most important thing in any bro's life, and that is chest day. Our chest day today, 'tis the season, sort of. In Bro 4 Squad tradition, we are introducing a new movie game just in time for the spooky Halloween season. This one is very cleverly called Trick or Treat. Guys, if you have a better title, send it to us.
Oh my God.
We don't have money for like focus groups or marketing, so that's what we came up with. Except hopefully when this trick-or-treating is over, I won't be crying into a pillowcase looking at only Juji fruits because my neighbor tripped me on purpose and took all the chocolate from my bag. Here's how the game works. Cycli and Geiger have each been given a list of... I had 20 movies written down, but I added a couple in there.
Are they all real?
Okay,
yeah.
what?
They're all real movies.
Okay.
So we have a list that's incomplete, is what you're telling me.
No, I added to it, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
How is it incomplete?
I'm fine with that. I was just wondering if, like, I'd pick one. They're like, that's not even a real movie. I made it up.
No, they're all real movies, sadly.
Okay.
Some of the titles. So they have a list of, I guess, 22 movies in a movie bank. What is going to happen is I'm going to read them the plot synopses of 9 different movies, and they will each have to guess what the movie is based on the plot synopsis from the list of movies that they have. I will redact names and the locations that might give it away. For example, if the movie were Alvin and the Chipmunks, The Squeakquel, and the plot synopsis were to say, Alvin...
Hold on, I have it tattooed on my back. 1 second.
Plot synopsis, like a motherfucker. And the plot synopsis were to say, like, Alvin, Simon, and Theodore return for this sequel, then I would redact the names when reading plot synopsis, just not to give it away.
I have a question, sir.
Sure.
How do we... Are we going to be like, I get to go first, and if I don't get the answer, he goes, and then he goes next, or are we just both blurting out answers?
Good question. I'm going to let you each guess for all 9 of the movies, and after you've both guessed, I will reveal if you got it right or wrong.
Oh, I see. Okay.
If you get it wrong, it's a trick. If you get it right, it is a treat.
So we could say the same thing.
Sure, you could definitely guess.
Okay. I'm just going to match him on all of them so I can't lose.
Well, you're a horror connoisseur. I think it should go the other way around, but...
That makes for a great podcast.
Look, I'm a soccer fan. I'll take a tie any day.
Just match the NFL Sunday bets with the hobo that lost his house. Good plan, Cycling. He's
Hey, that
due. He's due to hit
It's
that
any
parlay.
time. Come on.
Yeah, that guy's due for a burner any
It's
day.
his time.
I will
Also,
say, even though. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, last thing, I have decided you each get a bit of a bonus or a help. We'll call it an extra piece of candy.
Ooh.
One time throughout the entire game. If you choose to use your extra piece of candy, I will either read you the top 2 billed cast members for the movie, or I will give you the year that the movie came out and the plot synopsis. Let's say if you want to use that, it has to be after the other person has guessed, or at least I won't give you the hint until after the other person has guessed. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So the highest possible score would be a 9 out of 9. If you get that, you probably cheated, and fuck you. Are you ready to play for the first time ever, with some guaranteed hiccups, Trick or Treat?
I'm scared, but yeah.
Quit being such a pussy, dude.
But it's Halloween, man. I'm scared.
All right. Your first movie, the plot synopsis is... These are all according to IMDb. So if someone out there's like, excuse me, this is what the DVD says.
Actually, Jason Voorhees didn't press himself to the 5th movie.
All right. The first plot synopsis is, quote, 5 interwoven stories that occur on Halloween. An everyday high school principal has a secret life as a serial killer. A college virgin might have just met the guy for her. A group of teenagers pull a mean prank. A woman who loathes the night has to contend with her holiday-obsessed husband. And a mean old man meets his match with a demonic, supernatural being.
Wait, this is one movie?
Yeah, Cycling, go first. It's 5 interwoven stories. I would say read it again, but we'll lose listeners, so...
I mean, I have my answer if you want me to go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Please.
Sure,
I think it's Scary Stories You Tell in the Dark. That sounds like a He's Not That Into You type movie where there's 80 fucking things going on.
That's a great analogy, actually.
I know
So
I'm
gonna pick that.
I'm gonna go the same because I'm looking at the list. I'm not trying to. I'm joking aside. I'm not gonna copy on all of them, but I was. That's exactly what I was looking at on the list. I've never heard of this movie, but everything else I can't think of. So
you both say Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if like 4 guesses in, Cycling has still copied Geiger every time he keeps saying,
I swear.
Like, yeah, but you haven't stopped.
Then at the end, he picks a different one where
Just
basically
to
he
see.
stops me, then kicks a field goal and wins. Fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, for both of you,
I didn't make
that
the
is
rules.
a trick.
Wow.
Although
Will you
very
tell us?
appropriately, the movie is Trick or Treat
Oh.
from
that one.
2007. And it stars Geiger couple X-Men alumni, Anna Paquin, who of course is Rogue, and Brian Cox, who's one of the 14 people to play Stryker. There you
That's
go.
surprising.
I believe that's
Trick.
Brian's banner striker, though. That's who he claims.
Aren't they all his Stryker? Banner's like, tune in next week for my Stryker rankings. For like,
Hashtag not my striker. Can we trend that, please? I mean, if anything. Let's do
Banner's like,
Stryker.
the true strike ranking is as follows. People are like, please stop. No one
Damn it! I
cares.
thought that was a good. I thought that one made sense. Cycling. I don't
Yeah,
know why I'm
yeah.
apologizing for you. You basically just fucking copied.
Well,
But
because I only get points based on if you get it, so you should.
it's like the nerdy kid in school telling the jock, "I'm sorry, I thought that was square root of 8."
You know I cheated off you. Why'd you miss that question?
You want me to be fucking ineligible for the big game? No, of course I don't want that. So if you guys want, you can mark Trick or Treat off of your sheet. Also,
Okay.
Matt, I know you and I love wordplay like this. How cool is it that instead of putting Trick or Treat, they just put the letter R in the middle of it?
I
my
hope
God.
that during the ending it says Trick or R Treat, and the R was in like the sign where it's rated R. So then when the Trick and Treat on the screen and it's rated R, that'd be awesome.
That's cool. What if the R is like a scythe, like a knife, and that's why they have it in the middle?
That'd be awesome too.
Damn it. We're getting some momentum here. All right, 1 down, 8 to go. The second one.
Ooh.
Here is your plot synopsis. Again, according to IMDb. A newly engaged couple have a breakdown in an isolated area and must seek shelter at the bizarre residence of Dr. Frank Infurter.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Geiger, do you have a
that
guess?
is Rocky Horror Picture Show. Jeff, there's no way Ice Scream Man is a real movie. You made that up.
Wait, are you Googling it? That's illegal.
No, he's not Googling it.
No,
He's
it's
just looking at it
that's,
saying that's fucking
one of the
stupid.
names that I was looking at. But yeah, that's Rocky Horror
Yeah.
Picture Show. Which actually,
You are both receiving a treat.
Yeah.
Because that is the Rocky Horror Picture Show, of course, the 1975 classic, starring. I know
Good
Cycling Minds.
soundtrack.
Oh, great soundtrack! And
By the way, if you haven't seen this in a crowd, in a group, it's incredible.
It's really
Because
weird.
it is a really weird movie, but if you go, it's immersive viewing when you see it in a group and people are shouting throughout the whole movie. They'll bring things to throw. It's actually a really fun experience.
And of course, Cycling and I, that is our, what is he, Long John Silver in the Muppet Treasure Island? Who does he play?
Yeah, it's he plays Long John. Yeah,
Is that
he?
the main character that cross dresses?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, Tim Curry. And I actually forgot Susan Sarandon was in it.
Emma
She did
Watson and I can't remember what movie. She's in a play in the movie in that, and she is wearing a very scandalous outfit, and it is fantastic.
I'm gonna need you to send me that after.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
All right, 1-1 after our second of 9 houses we're stopping at. This
All right,
is now-
Geiger, you got to go first on this one.
We're not going to be picking first in the draft. Cool. All right, let's go.
Well, we don't know. We'll see.
Try to get in the playoffs now.
All right, our third one. And again, if I say redacted, a word has been removed from it. So, redacted returns once again to terrorize the redacted of the remaining redacted, as well as those of a young woman. I'll read it again. Redacted returns once again to terrorize the redacted of the remaining redacted, as well as those of a young woman. I just couldn't keep those words in.
It's one of the two. If I get this right, I have a better record than Cycling Sooners. So this is really big thing for me. I think it's Friday the 13th. Jason Lives.
Which part is that? Just so people know.
What?
Part 6, Friday the 13th.
I'm not that great at greedy. What is that? Greek numbers? But yeah, that's a 5. And if the I is after the 5, it's 6. If it's before, it's 4. Okay.
Can you? Sorry, I'm going to ask you. Can you say it one more time?
Sure.
I'm debating.
And I apologize
two.
because again, there is a lot of
The redacted is difficult. Yes.
Correct. Just pretend it's like the Mitchell report.
Yeah.
Redacted. You know all about this from legal terms. So
Of course. Yeah.
you're used to seeing this. Redacted returns once again to terrorize the redacted of the remaining redacted, as well as those of a young woman.
Okay, I'm going to go different. I'll say Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
What's the full title, please?
Revenge. I don't remember. I don't know.
The Dream Master.
Yeah, I want you
The
to read
Dream
them
Master.
because they're very stupid titles.
Dream Master.
Revenge of the Sith. I don't. Yeah. Dream Master. That's right.
So this is the first one we've had where we
Different.
have a different in the points awarded. So for Geiger, it is a trick.
Oh,
But for Cycling, it is a treat. That is a Nightmare
let's go.
for the Dream Master. And here's the plot with the redacteds removed. Freddy Krueger returns once again to terrorize the dreams of the remaining Dream Warriors,
Dream
as
is
well as
I think
those of the young
teens.
men.
I was thinking teens, and I initially thought Jason, but I wanted to go opposite of you. That was
Well,
my
Geiger's
motivation.
Sounds like something Jason would do.
Exactly.
Instead of dreams, it was just stabbing.
That was a good one.
So
All right, let's get it back here.
2-1. Yeah, you're still in this,
Let's
dude.
go.
I'll shake off the dirt and get back in there. I'm not scared.
Walk it
Fucking
on.
put my chin strap back on.
All right, number 4. Here is your plot synopsis. Tommy Jarvis goes to the graveyard to get rid of Redacted. The killer once again seeks revenge, and Tommy may be the only one who can defeat him.
Can you say that one more time?
Yes,
Shit,
and
that's
Cycle,
a hard one.
you get to guess first on this one, since you got the last one right.
Yeah.
Tommy Jarvis goes to the graveyard to get rid of Redacted. The killer once again seeks revenge, and Tommy may be the only one who can defeat him. You don't know
What?
Tommy Jarvis, bro?
I'm looking at this list.
Remember,
Wow.
you have an extra piece of candy if you want to use it. I won't give you the hint until after Geiger guesses.
Go.
You want me to read it one more time?
Yeah, one more time. I'm so sorry.
I'm sure the people at home are wondering, what the fuck is this? Tommy Jarvis goes to the graveyard to get rid of Redacted. The killer once again seeks revenge, and Tommy may be the only one who can defeat him. I don't know what's so special about Tommy.
Okay. That helps a little bit, I think. I don't know.
So are you just
Cycling, you're stalling.
Sorry. I'm really
Delay of
stalling.
game.
I literally have no idea. The last Friday, I have no idea. Friday final.
Wait, what?
I think he's saying Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
The final chapter of I have no idea.
See, so Cycling has seen a lot of these, so I know it's none of the Saws. It can't be Nightmare. It's got to be Friday the 13th, and it can't. So one of them's Part 6, Jason Lives, which I just said, but I think it's Friday the 13th, Part 3.
Okay, so we're both going Friday. Wow.
I don't know.
I just pulled that out of my ass.
Can you read the full title? Because I put them all in because they were stupid titles.
Friday the 13th, Part 3. That's what it's called.
Oh, it doesn't have a subtitle?
No,
I guess that
not yet.
Maybe.
You gotta be patient. They don't get subtitles till like 8.
That's true. Well, for both of you, it is a trick.
That's not surprising. What the hell is it?
The correct answer is Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives.
Shit. What?
Yeah.
We got this.
If I remember
right genre.
In this one, the guy goes to the graveyard and he's like burying Jason, and like literally lightning strikes and revives Jason, and he's like,
"Oh,
if you thought he was unkillable before."
What happens?
I can't believe we both guessed the right genre, the right film though.
Yeah. We've all been there. Am I right? All right, here we go. Number 5. Again, it's 2-1 Cycle. Cycle, you still have the board, meaning you have to go first. The plot synopsis to our 5th movie. This is basically halftime. 4 young friends bound by a tragic accident are reunited when they find themselves being stalked by a hook-wielding maniac in their small seaside town.
Am I first?
Wait, no, I'm first. Can you say it one more time? That reunited makes me...
4 young friends bound by a tragic accident are reunited when they find themselves being stalked by a hook-wielding maniac in their small seaside town.
I know what you did last summer.
Okay. And Geiger, your guess.
I'm nervous.
Can you read it again?
Yes. 4 young friends bound by a tragic accident are reunited when they find themselves being stalked by a hook-wielding maniac in their small seaside town.
Reunited
I know.
Is fucking me up. It might be.
It was fucking me up too. I didn't want to stall as.
I'm gonna go. I still know what you did last summer because that
nervous.
Reunited.
I know. I was nervous about it.
All right, we have a split here.
Wow.
Of course
you have different answers, but I guess that implies one of you got it right. So for Geiger, it is a trick.
Oh, that's unlucky.
It is the original I Know What You Did last summer. I think in the movie they like stop being friends.
Yes, that's right.
And they all kind of
kids stop being friends. Wow,
it was too traumatic. The people in the car all reacted differently. There was the girl who like felt guilty about it. One of the guys who never wanted to talk about it again. I think that's kind of what happened, right?
It just sounds like petty bullshit.
I saw it last year. It's a great movie. I love that movie.
Yeah. That was like the late 90s Scream and all these movies were coming out. It was so much fun.
What'd be fun, Jeff? Sorry to go off topic. What'd be fun is to like read some of our favorite movies. Like you read my favorite movies, plot synopsis, see if I can even get them. If you take out the names and shit, I bet I can't.
Yeah, this game has a ton of iterations.
Yeah.
You have to try out.
Okay.
And
it's way harder.
Geiger, Vegas had you plus 2.5. So
shit.
You're still covering.
Did you bet the over?
I did. I did. God damn it. But I gotta get 2 on him here.
All right, here we go. Number 6. So now in the back half. Plot synopsis is: paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren work to help a family terrorized by a dark presence in their farmhouse.
I would say this is, in my opinion, probably the easiest one. So that means I'm probably going to miss it for some reason. But I'm going to say The Conjuring.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I'm going to go with The Conjuring.
All right, The Conjuring is what they both say. And it is a treat for both of you. That is 2015's.
Didn't help me at all, though.
The Conjuring. You got to keep pace, though, man. It's like if they slow run, you got to get one on the bottom half, you know? Of course, starring Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. All right. This one will be fun. Number 7. According to IMDb, a psychiatrist familiar with knife-wielding demon, redacted, helps teens at a mental hospital battle the killer who is redacted. Excuse me, I read demon twice. I'll read that again because I butchered it. A psychiatrist familiar with knife-wielding demon, redacted, helps teens at a mental hospital battle the killer who is redacted.
So is it me?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure I know the answer because I think I just watched it like a few weeks ago. So I don't know if Matt, you want me to go ahead and say it, and then I feel pretty confident.
Okay.
Or do you want? I mean, I'll
the
say
honors. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know it too.
Okay. Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors.
Okay. And Geiger, what would you like to go with?
Sorry, A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. The other one's called The Dream Master.
The Dream Master.
Rereading. Yeah, Dream Warriors.
Big difference, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big difference. Come on.
It's like,
There's someone at home in their mom's basement. Huge fucking difference.
I almost read the wrong one. I'm like, we've already read that one. Okay, yeah, that one.
But again, as long as it hasn't been used, it's still...
Yeah, it hasn't. The other one hasn't.
Yeah, the other one was, yeah.
So for both of you, obviously since you have the same answer, it is a treat. That is Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. Cycly, why did you watch that recently?
There's nothing else to do.
Okay. Still indefensible.
I'll just say, for early October, I'm
watched
kind of
all of them.
disappointed. There hasn't been many Halloween films on.
No, there really hasn't. It's frustrating.
I haven't even seen Hocus Pocus on.
No,
Disney Plus, man. I know you're a big fan of Disney Plus.
I'll reread the plot synopsis without the redacted information. A psychiatrist familiar with knife-wielding demon Freddy Krueger helps teens in a mental hospital battle the killer who is invading their dreams. All right, so the score is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
There's
2.
not a Nightmare on Elm Street Dreamweaver.
Dreamweaver.
That's the next one. It's gonna come out soon.
5-3. Cycly leads Geiger.
God,
Again, the
this is
spread
nerves.
was Geiger plus 2.5. Cycly, you still have the board. Here is the second to last.
Wow.
Plot synopsis is: on Halloween 1968, Stella and two of her friends meet a mysterious drifter, Ramon, and uncover a sinister notebook. I'll read it again. On Halloween 1968, Stella and her two friends meet a mysterious drifter, Ramon, and uncover a sinister notebook.
I don't know if I know this one. Say it one more time. I apologize.
On Halloween 1968, Stella and her two friends meet a mysterious drifter, Ramon, and uncover a sinister notebook.
Wow. I'm going to go. I don't think this is it, but I don't know.
Remember, you have your extra piece of candy you can still use.
You know, yeah, I'll use that.
Okay, so I'll let Geiger guess before I give you. Do you want the year or the top two build cast members?
The year.
Okay.
Okay, since you said a sinister notebook, and a notebook is something you read, I'm gonna go Scary Stories You Tell in the Dark.
Ah, nice.
Okay. So that's your guess, Cycly.
I probably shouldn't say my thinking because then Cycly back.
Yeah, like that is a good point you make.
Oh, thank you. Cycly, you said you wanted the year?
Yeah.
Okay, the movie came out in 2019.
Oh, wow. That's definitely not what I was thinking then. You know, just for the sake of it, I'm not going to copy you because I feel like that would be a little unfair at that point.
Yeah, dick move.
Yeah.
Price is Right type move where they
You
bet
could
$1.
I'm just
play
gonna
like
pass.
flop
I'm just gonna
defense
pass.
and just
I'm
pick
just gonna
everything.
pass. I'm gonna take a trick.
What?
Wow. That's really weird.
I don't know. The other movies are like I feel like I know the plots and at least some of them, and I
Hunting
can't
on
think of one I
35.
don't know. You know what? No, Ice Cream Man. Ice Cream Man.
Ice Scream Man. Yeah, I wish the plot to Ice Scream Man was that simple. Geiger got it right. It is Scary
Damn it.
Stories to Tell in the Dark. And I'm
one
glad you
behind,
didn't pick,
baby. Let's go.
Ice Cream Man. I was like, I got so excited when I saw that my list. I was like, wait a second, that has to be it.
and I'm glad you didn't pick the cast because the top two build cast members are Zoe Margaret Coletti and Michael Garza.
Oh, that would have been too obvious, man. I mean, come
Right.
on.
Very underrated actor.
No one talks about him. It's a damn shame. Score
I
now
would
is.
name you movies he's in, but we don't have time, do we, Jeff? Let's just go.
I don't think so. Yeah, we only have like 40 minutes left. All right, it's 5-4, cycling
Wow.
over Geiger. Into the last one. I'm really hoping you guys kind of don't tie because I had no tiebreaker prepared.
There's going to be a tiebreaker. You just got.
All right, this one has a pretty lengthy part in the middle of it that is redacted. It's probably 1, 2, 3. It's about 6 words. Just have to let you know. So number 9 in our final plot synopsis is the 6 words redacted to stalk 2 teens, Julie and Ray, at a posh island resort. So
Man,
then 6 redacted words that I wish I could include, but I really can't. To stalk 2 teens, Julie and Ray, at a posh island resort.
Island Resort.
Good teams save their
Hey, you get
timeouts
to
for
go
the end.
first.
So I want Cycling to go first, and I'm gonna use my lifeline or whatever the hell you call it.
Okay. Cycle, you're up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask you to read it one more time, then.
All right, and then 6 redacted
Yeah.
words. Again, I'm sorry I had to take that many out, but it just would have given it away. To stalk 2 teens, Julie and Ray, at a posh island resort.
Wow, this is really difficult.
And the words redacted have to do with the person doing the stalking. I don't think.
You know what? I'm gonna go with my last answer again. I'm gonna say ice cream man.
Can you pronounce it properly, please?
Ice cream man.
Thank you. Hey,
Of course, yeah.
So I can ask top build or year.
I'll give you the top 2 build or the year the movie came out. It's up to you.
I want the year.
That was a mistake. The year is 1998.
Oh no, I think I know it now. Shit. Oh well.
I'll probably say I still know what you did last summer.
Damn it.
All right.
I think he got it.
Geiger got a treat.
Yep.
Cycly got a trick. The top build, of course, would have been Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr.
I remember they went to an island, but I didn't.
I was
think it just
hoping
2
you'd say
teens.
1992 because you have on here Candyman in parentheses 1992. So I'd be like,
Well, yeah, I forgot that the new one didn't actually come out this year, unfortunately.
you
And
come-
god damn it, guys, this ends
First of all, how do you not have ice cream man as one of the answers? I thought it had to be an answer. So
I thought of that one. I remembered that movie today at work, and I just added it to the list as a fun
Damn it.
decoy.
Boy, you got me.
So a 5-5 tie, really? Like,
You just throw one out there. You have the list.
Jeff's just doing his Bud Selig shoulder shrug right now. I was like, well, time to go on the next segment. I don't
Yeah,
know.
don't worry, we'll make the next All-Star game really stupidly important to make up for this. It's like, what? That does.
Do you have a coin next to you? You can flip it, and one of us can say heads or tails.
I don't. Do one of you guys have a coin?
Unbelievable.
We'll just fight to the death later, and we'll let
Yeah.
people know what happened.
Okay, cool. Remember, no going for the head or face area. What is he?
Of course.
Of course, right. We're not animals. You don't have to mention that. All right. Well, that was our first game of Trick or Treat. I think that went pretty well.
Did it?
Less crying from me than a typical
Loved it.
night of trick or treating.
Damn it! I'm
Geiger, I have to
embarrassed.
say, you stepped your game up in the horror. I mean, I had you. You were a 2.5-point dog. It was a backdoor cover, but it's a cover nonetheless.
I'll have to say, I know you guys are way better at horror movies than I am, but when it came to testing, like I could usually read a question and kind of figure out which 2 answers make the most sense, even if I didn't know anything about the subject. That's always been just a skill of mine.
And I'll give Hornacek credit because we both love horror movies. He picked a lot of movies that I don't think, I think he knew I probably haven't seen. So those are good.
And I haven't seen pretty much any of them on this list, really.
So yeah, you still get it.
I mean, I think I could have got Saw, the first
What
one.
I think would be really fun is to do one where, like, Friday the 13th, for example, I think there's like 12 of them. Let's just do a game with those where you have to match the plot synopsis.
Yes.
to the stupid type.
Well, congrats, Geiger. That was a good game.
Thank you.
Well played. Well played on both sides. All right, the second part of our show is called our protein shake, where we go around and talk about what is in our cup, also known as what have we watched lately. I have, since it's been a while since we potted, I have 5 things, but I'll only talk about really 3 of them. And one of them, likely you actually watched. You told me to watch.
2 of them I watched actually with you.
Oh,
Well,
nice.
Yeah, I'm looking at your list earlier.
The bottom one, did you watch that? Because I know Geiger.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, so we can save that one till the very end, Matt. That's the
Yep.
South Park Dynamic special. All right, who wants to go first of you two? Because I have to go urinate.
Matt, you get the win, so I'm going to give
Cool.
it to you.
Couple things. First off, I went to a movie theater and I had a beer, had my mask on in my recliner, and I went and saw Tenet. And dude, Tenet's fucking awesome. Don't ask me what Tenet's about. I'm still looking at a lot of YouTube stuff to make sure. I left there.
What would you say it's about?
It's basically like if if Christopher Nolan went to the studio and said, "Hey, I want to do basically James Bond. You know how he did Batman? I want to do James Bond." It's pretty much what he did with Denzel Washington's son, John David Washington, Robert Pattinson, who's phenomenal in this. I've actually never had a problem with Robert Pattinson. You know,
he's
did
going to be a
Twilight.
theme. I'm just going to tell everyone he's going to be a theme in this. Keep going.
Okay. Never had a problem with him. He did Twilight. So what? Efron did High School Musical, man. You got to start somewhere. And if I'm a young actor and you give me some stupid ass role, but you're going to pay me, absolutely I'll do it to get my name fucking through the door. Let me tell you, when he's on screen, he's not like, I'm going to go for Nolan films. I don't want to compare him to Heath Ledger, but Tom Hardy in The Dark Knight Rises, he just commands your attention when he's on the screen. He does a fucking phenomenal job. John David Washington, sorry, I'm not a fan of. I like him. I love the series Ballers. He's great in that. I just don't think this is his speed. I don't think he's a good enough actor to be in these. I mean, you got to think, you're up against like Leo DiCaprio, Cillian Murphy, Heath Ledger, Tom Hardy, and Christopher Nolan films. You know, I think this is more of a speed, you know, for Chadwick Boseman or, I don't know, Michael B. Jordan or someone like that. I don't think he's this yet. Maybe he can be someday. Just don't think he's this yet. Now, I will say one thing. This might have a better score than The Dark Knight.
Wow.
Now, The Dark Knight probably carries more weight because we're comic book nerds and we love that movie. But this score, and also this opening scene, I wouldn't compare to The Dark Knight, but I would compare it to The Dark Knight Rises, where it just grabs your attention. It's action-packed. The score is fucking awesome. And this is and I was talking to Jeff about this. Well, you know, we don't really rate movies, but did I have a phenomenal time? Did I think this movie is good? Absolutely. I don't know if that's, you know, basically my first time back in a theater and I just had so much fucking fun that I thought the movie is better than it was. But this is a very good movie. And actually I Googled like, you know, a lot of theories on it, and it's very interesting. And you could do a couple sequels on this actually. And I don't know if Nolan's really never done sequels besides Batman, which he kind of had to, but if you guys want to, definitely a movie you have to see in theaters. You just have to, with the score and everything. It was a very fun theater experience. If you're scared to go to the theater right now, you know, I live in Dallas, and there wasn't too many people in the theater, and it was, I think, opening weekend on a Saturday night. Go see this movie. It's very, very well done, and it was just fun to be back in the theater, man. Drinking beer.
That's what I was gonna ask. How nice
cool.
was that to feel normal for?
I mean,
even with the mask on.
You wear a mask, but I mean, theaters are chill, so it's not like you're sweating your balls off or anything. So yeah, it was fucking fun as hell. I had a great time. So Tenet, go see it in theaters. Also, what I watched on the E! Network is What to Expect When You're Expecting, which is about the book that all the women read when they're pregnant. My wife's pregnant right now. And this movie, I thought, I kind of rolled my eyes. I'm like, dude, is this like Valentine's Day and he's not that into you, these stupid This movie is actually fucking hilarious. Basically the same not the same cast, but the same concept, where you got Cameron Diaz, Dennis Quaid, Jennifer Lopez, Elizabeth Smart, just a bunch of fucking people. But one of them, they have a dad's group where this one dad's going to be a new dad. So he joins the dad's group, and all they do is have the fucking backpack, and they have, you know, the stroller and shit.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Who plays the main dad in it? I know you said Dennis Quaid is one of the fathers.
Well, there's about 20 stories going on. So Dennis Quaid's one of the dads. Chris Rock is head of the dad's group.
Okay,
and then Thomas Lennon from Reno 911's in the dad's group. The guy who dates Holly from The Office is in the dad's group. And they go to the park with all their kids, and they're exhausted, and they have this one rule: there's no judging. You know, even if you left your kid and you forgot about him, no one's going to judge you. And Joe Manganiello works out at the park and always has his shirt off and shows him pictures of chicks he's banging and stuff. It's actually a really fucking funny movie. I was very surprised. I would watch it again. And I think you guys would probably get a kick out of it. I know Banner would.
What year is it from?
I think it's from like 2015, 16, something like that. Nice. Probably about 3 or 4 years old. All right. Watch the NBA Finals. I think they're pretty much fucking over, but I don't know. I love basketball, and especially, I mean, the World Series I'll watch. I think it'd be better. I like iconic teams. Not a fan of either of these teams, but if it's Dodgers Yankees, that's fucking awesome. Lakers Heat, fucking love it. And you still got LeBron's old coach back there, very fun to watch. I just love having sports back. The Heat won without Bam Adebayo, and then he came back and they fucking lost. I think LeBron's going to win this. And you can say what you want, man. Living in a bubble that long, I mean, it takes a mental strain on you. You got to respect what these athletes are doing right now. I know traveling takes a mental strain on you as well, especially if you're from LA to Miami, but just sitting there, not being able to really do anything and probably afraid to do something because if you contract the virus, you can't fucking play. Very, very interesting. I mean, this will never be duplicated again. So I don't care what political spectrum are. Just watch the fucking NBA finals. They're really fun to watch, and watch the MLB playoffs too.
Can you imagine being without groupies for that long?
I can't. I can't imagine that.
Yeah, I literally can't imagine that.
First off, I got to close my eyes and imagine getting that much ass and then open them and pretend I didn't have that much
No,
ass.
Matt, you're right, because I read stories that like the Houston Rockets and Clippers, their players were like having fucking mental breakdowns. And it makes total sense. And we'll get into that probably a little bit with the South Park special and the Build-A-Bear references.
Lastly, what I watched on Netflix, I about clicked on the new Adam Sandler thing for Halloween, but then I saw the trailer. So I clicked on Ace Ventura 2. Is there a better comedy sequel?
Damn, if there is, I can't.
It's better than the first one. And the first one.
It's definitely better than the first one.
I like the second Horrible Bosses, but it's not better than Ace Ventura 2.
No. There's so many great things in this. The first one, I think I like better just because it's about the Miami Dolphins and the story is really interesting and stuff. But the second one, when he goes to that tribe and they spit on him because they like him so much and shit, it's a fucking great movie, man. It's whenever I see it, I kind of forget it's a comedy sequel because so many of them have bombed, and that kind of wasn't a thing back then. I mean, Caddyshack had a second one, but not many people did a comedy sequel with the original guy. Usually the guy's like, no, I don't want to do a sequel, but probably the best comedy sequel ever. If you know a better one, comment and I'll probably watch it. But
I think, and we should almost do a podcast once just on like hardest laughs ever at a movie, but I think my 3 hardest movie laughs ever in no particular order are in Tommy Boy when he starts burning the toy cars during the presentation. In Wedding Crashers when they have the quote-unquote two-hand touch football game.
Yeah.
And then in Ace Ventura 2 when he comes out of the rhino's ass.
The rhinos.
Oh, God.
his little, like the smallest fucking fan ever, and it dies, and he's like tapping it. Like, come on.
You could ask Thurman, like, when we're golfing in August and it's hotter than shit in Texas, I'll be like, kind of hot in these rhinos. Like, I always say that.
He's like wiping sweat off of his brow because he knows he has to be in there for like another 2.5 hours.
Don't mind me, Mr. Quinn. I'm just a curious little rhino. He's like, putting him up to.
Moving it up and down. The way he sticks his hand out of its ass and starts moving. That was like Jim Carrey in his prime.
Oh, my God. His physical acting, and some of you kids probably haven't seen this, but Three's Company, like John Ritter was probably, I always thought, the king of physical acting until like Jim Carrey came along. But Jim Carrey's physical acting is just on another fucking level.
The scene in that movie where he tortures the guy by rubbing the knife and fork on the plate.
That would get me.
Then he touches his eyeball. He's like, my brother used to do that to me. Stop.
Ooey.
That's all I got till we're going to talk about the South Park pandemic episode. But
I got to rewatch
go see
that.
Tenet. I can't stress it enough. You'll have fun. Banner has to see it. One of the best scores I've heard in a really long time. I'm
excited. I'll have to get up to it at some point soon. Cycling, what's in your cup?
So yeah, I know we all share one, and you and I share 2. So I'll let you go. It's October, so it's kind of getting in the Halloween theme. First, I'm going to go to Netflix. I rewatched all of Stranger Things. I know they're doing filming a 4th season. Obviously, sadly, got delayed to COVID. So we're going to get that a little later. I think it was supposed to be released around this time. But Stranger Things to me is still, in my opinion, is one of the best shows that has come out on Netflix, original shows. I mean,
that's a tough list to top.
It's a tough list. There's a lot of good ones. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not saying it is the best, but it's definitely arguable. It's definitely at the top. I mean, I love those kind of movies or shows in general, like kind of like Goonies or the Oh my God. Like, just any kid's adventure, 80s based. And the kids' actors are incredible. It makes for a great show. And Winona Ryder is fantastic in it too. It was a good comeback for her. So on the rewatch, it was held up just as well, if not enjoyed it more. So if you have never seen Stranger Things, I don't want to give anything away. Absolutely go watch it. It's a perfect Halloween show. I have also restarted The Haunting of Hill House. I think I've talked about that a couple times.
I tried to get into that, and maybe I'll give it another shot.
You should. It's the character development they do in that show, because it's a little slow, because you and I have always felt the same way about supernatural versus realistic horror. That's one of the better supernatural I've ever seen because of the development they do bring out over the growth of the show. By the 7th, 8th episodes. I know people get annoyed when you say that. Oh, just stick with it. It definitely does start out slow, but it's worth it.
Is Love from season 2 in that show?
Yes,
from you, season 2. Sorry.
Yes, she is.
She have a main role, or?
Yeah, she's one of the main characters, and she's also plays a very fucked up person, just like she does in You season 2. The reason I'm rewatching it is we're about to get the second one, The Haunting of Briar Hill or Mansion or something. If they're not related, it's just another story. The reviews are coming out. It's supposed to be amazing, so I just wanted to rewatch this one as a build up. And then the other movie I recently just watched on Netflix was called The Devil All the Time, and
it's popped up. Tom Holland,
Robert Pattinson.
God, he's in fucking everything.
The guy who plays Dudley Dursley is in this movie. And I had no idea it was him until I read about the movie afterwards, and everyone was like, "That was fucking Dudley Dursley." And I had to go back.
Dursley?
Yeah, Dursley. Yeah.
Who is that?
Oh, Harry Potter. It's Harry Potter's stepbrother.
Yeah, I didn't want to sound like an idiot on my own podcast that I have about movies, but I was trying to find my phone. Like, who the fuck is that?
Where's Banner when you need him? Yeah. I need to tell him about it. But yeah, here's what I'll say about the movie without spoiling too much. I think it just came out. It first of all, I thought it was going to be a horror. It's absolutely not a horror, so don't go in expecting that. The name got me. It kind of is like a Love Actually, but more of a thriller side of things, where there's multiple stories. Yeah, I know. Or Crash. You guys remember Crash?
Yes.
Whereas all these people are kind of intertwined and impacting each other, even though they don't really realize it. It is a psychological thriller, more like. Here's the problems I had with it. Not long enough. I think it just needed to be a miniseries. There were so many characters and so many things going on with each character. They had no time to develop each one. They all deserved more screen time. They all deserved more depth. It came at a running time of a little over 2 hours. So it's weird to say it needed to be longer. But the movie tried to do too much. The plot was fantastic. The story it's trying to tell is amazing. The performances, Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson, are incredible. And to Matt, your point about Robert Pattinson, I immediately was so excited about him playing Batman when I was watching this movie because of how amazing his performance is. And you said,
do we need to go back and rewatch Twilight? Because as
I know
you said, he commands your attention.
Yes.
I've never seen anyone Tom Hardy does that a lot for me. Whenever he's on screen, he's like, "Hey, put your beer down and stop texting. I'm going to act here for a second." I'm like, "Oh, sorry." And
I wanted him in more.
like that too, but I need to go watch Twilight to see if he does it in that as well. But everything I've seen him in since then, I'm like, oh wait, my wife, shut up for a second. I don't care about your day. Robert Pattinson's acting.
It shows you how talented he is. Every actor takes paycheck gigs. I'll never knock him for that. That's kind of been our thing, right? Get your bag, but don't act like you're not getting your bag. That's the only thing I get mad about. But Hollywood recognized, all right, this is a teeny bopper popcorn franchise, but we see something here.
Yeah, he is. It was. I remember my reaction when Heath Ledger got the Joker role, and I'm not trying to compare them. I'm just saying, at that time, I really hadn't seen Heath Ledger in a lot of serious roles. I think I loved
when he got cast. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I loved A Knight's Tale, but I was like, how is he gonna be the
Monsters Ball
Joker?
Was probably his most serious, but he was fourth build in that.
Yeah, and I hadn't seen Brokeback Mountain yet. I hadn't, I don't even know. Yeah. I think it was out yet, but I was really kind of confused about that casting. And then in kind of the same way when he was announced as Batman, I'm like, okay, but I guess I can see it. But now I've seen, and there's another movie I'm about to talk about. I'm on board. I am so excited. And so that's what I would say. Go watch The Devil All the Time. It's worth the watch, but I think you'll agree that it deserves more. And there's certain characters that you're like, wait, that's where's their motivation? Because they were just on screen and they're off, and they seemed like really important.
I think it's based on a book, and maybe that might be part
yeah.
of the adaptation kind of loses something. Because in a book, you can flesh everyone out much better.
And from what I read online was the book does a better job of exactly that, exploring. And the cool thing about the movie is it's narrated by the guy who wrote the movie, wrote the book. Cool. There's a narrator in it. And so, nice. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But they jump around timelines, and there's people like, yeah, go watch it. I recommend it, but go in with that expectation, and you probably be more pleasantly surprised.
Last question. Does Tom Holland have his British accent or his Peter Parker accent?
It's closer to the Peter Parker, but he lives in he's from the West Virginia, Pennsylvania region. So I will say Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson, a fantastic job. Bill,
I'm interested to see that because I haven't seen Tom Holland do that.
Yes,
which I'm sure he's capable of. But he's just in Peter Parker fun roles, and then the Will Smith animated sidekick movie that banned.
Uh-huh. We've all seen those movies
where he becomes a pigeon.
Oh. We've all seen the movie that performance really is better than the movie itself. I think this is one of those that it's worth to watch just for that.
So every Tom Hardy movie ever. Got it. Cool.
Absolutely. And so I'm going to transition now into, if you don't know, again, I've talked about Midsommar is one of my favorite movies, Hereditary for horror movies. So these were developed by a company called A24. And A24 is really famous for just letting the filmmakers do what the fuck they want to do. They don't come in and check out what's happening on set. They don't try to change storyboards. And so I decided to watch a couple of those movies. And I'll go one of them again has Robert Pattinson in it. It's called The Lighthouse. It's streaming on Amazon Prime.
Black and white with Willem Dafoe, right?
Yeah, black and white with Willem Dafoe, set in the late 19th century. And fucking holy shit. Again, Robert Pattinson, just wow. Willem Dafoe too.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The plot synopsis is basically two lighthouse keepers are both kind of going insane because of isolation with each other.
Yeah, it's a very good movie to watch in COVID times. Basically they're supposed to be there for a month, and there's a storm, and they're there indefinitely. There's a lot of allegories and metaphors, the Greek mythology and Poseidon, and this is not a fun movie. It's not a scary movie either. It is a very long, 2 hours with just two people. It makes you, the audience member, feel like you're as isolated as they are. You're seeing them go through the same thing every day. So it's not one movie you're like, oh, I have nothing to do, I'll pick up and watch. It is definitely a slow burn. But again, kind of like the Devil All the Time, worth for their performances. And the cinematography is fantastic. I think it was nominated for an Oscar for that too. So if you're okay with that kind of movie, I recommend it.
I don't know. I mean, if Robert Pattinson was isolated that long for a lighthouse, you think he could have done some fucking push-ups for Batman,
I think
it's the only thing that scares me about him in Batman. But honestly, most of that is just one shirtless workout scene. Other than that, you can't really tell if a person's in shape because the suit makes you look in shape. So,
well, I don't think he's out of shape. He's just skinny.
Yeah, I'm not saying. Yeah,
can you break
hit weights a little bit though?
I need you to be able to snap a thug's arm very easily. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I will tell you, how I believe all movies are connected. And to your point, he could have done some push-ups. By the end of the movie, they're literally only eating alcohol. So, I mean, that probably has something to do with it. You can't really gain muscle mass anymore.
Sounds like junior year of college.
Yeah. So go watch that if you feel like torturing yourself.
Is it streaming on anything?
Yeah, Amazon Prime.
Okay, awesome.
And the last one, again, another A24 movie, also streaming on Amazon Prime. It's called Neon Demon. Not quite a horror, but again, psychological. Ella Fanning and Jenna Malone. Jenna Malone I love her in Donnie Darko. I don't really see her that much.
She's in Stepmom. She had a cutout
right. How psychotic these women are in this industry. And she's 16 years old. She's supposed to lie, and she's 18. all these like 18-year-old, 19-year-old models like hate her, and it's there's a lot to it. There's some cultish, which you see in a lot of A24. There's a lot of cult analogies to it. Some satanic stuff going involved. Again, the score and the cinematography is fucking incredible. It's hard to say exactly how I feel about the movie. It is worth a watch if you appreciate uniqueness and something that's just different from what you're used to. But again, it's not for the faint of heart, especially the last 20, 30 minutes.
What year is Neon Demon from? The title sounds really familiar.
I believe it's only 2 or 1 year old. I believe it's pretty recent.
I'm just interested in a studio that just lets the directors direct and not, because honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a director's cut that I'm like, oh my God, I'm glad that the studio stepped in.
Yeah, no, A20, that's their shtick. That's what they're getting famous for, is letting the artists do what they want.
I'm assuming like they're all much lower budgets, right? Like the reason Warner Brothers freaks out is because they put up $200 million, and then they're like, "What are you going to do with that, though?"
Yeah, they got my loyalty.
To
for sure.
sell this to Coca-Cola, I don't.
So when does Superman drink the Pepsi? What? He doesn't. Okay, well that needs to be in there. Like,
I'm sure there's going to be a day this changes. Like, it just will happen as they're getting bigger. I believe they did Uncut Gems.
I would like them to do that, because then if, say, someone has a problem with the movie, like, oh, that offends me, oh, that pisses me off, all the studios say, hey, talk to the fucking director and the writer about it.
Yeah.
We have nothing to do with this. We just did.
Yeah,
we
don't
even watch these.
Yeah,
it gives
believe
them, like,
if you go look,
they can just say, fuck you, pass the buck.
It's working for them. I will tell you that. Like, if you go look, just Google A24 movies. Like I said, if you're the type of person like me that enjoys, a little darker, a little edgier, it's fantastic. Again, they're not straight horror films. They're not just like slapstick or slasher films. They have a lot of depth to them.
Nice.
Well, I'm curious now, cyclically, Ari Aster, who wrote and directed Hereditary and Midsommar, I wonder, I'm assuming his next project is probably with that studio, right? I haven't looked.
I really hope so. Yeah.
I don't even know
really
what it
hope
is.
So.
But Ari
it's
Aster,
going to be fucked up.
You'll love this, cyclically. I listened to a podcast interview Ari Aster did right after Midsommar, and he said he has an idea for a project. He wasn't sure if it would be his next one, but it's about like this music festival, and it's like a kind of another cultish spin on like someone attending a music festival in it.
He's obsessed with cult. The best thing I ever saw about him, he did an AMA on Reddit, and the very top question was, "Are you okay?" And he responded with no, and nothing else. It's fantastic. So that's what I've watched. Robert Pattinson, I'm on board.
All right, a couple things. I watched a couple of these with you guys, but we don't have to talk about them too much. It actually is up now as of our recording of this, but Geiger and I did a movie commentary on Halloween H2O 20 years later. Geiger,
Halloween water.
Yeah, get it? Because that's the chemical compound for...
Is it a miracle they weren't underwater at some time in the movie?
Do you think that someone at the studio was like, so is science or water involved? And they go, no, why would you think that? Well, just
so you can breathe underwater, right? No.
Well, no. Let's table that, though. Someone put that on the whiteboard, because we will use that in a future one, but it's good.
Revisit it with us, though. It's actually a really good movie.
Yeah,
I've always defended this movie.
We joke, I loved it. And I forgot that Michelle Williams was in it, obviously along with Josh Hartnett.
Yep.
The movie itself has an incredible ending. Obviously, the next Halloween fucks it up as best it can. But I thought this was legit, like, counting the new Halloween movie directed by David Gordon Green that came out a few years ago. This is probably my third favorite Halloween.
Wow.
And the gap between this and 4 is probably pretty big.
So, I haven't seen this one in literally...
You need to watch it. Please
years.
watch it before Halloween. You will think.
I will.
You look at the title and you're like, okay, that's fucking stupid. And
watch
then you
watch the first Halloween and then watch that one. You don't have to watch any of the others.
You mean not Halloween 3 or whatever that has nothing to do with any other Halloween?
Season of the Witch.
Season of the Witch?
Yeah.
No, you should watch that one just to, have fun.
Have a good time. Like, hey, can we just slap this title on it that has literally nothing to do with it?
Of the Witch. There's not even a witch in it either. Like,
yeah, that's true.
What
it's
are
just
you
like
doing here?
What is happening? Yeah. Another thing I watched, I won't talk about it too much, but a little teaser for Christmas. Brian Banner and I did a movie commentary on the classic Elf.
Yes.
And to sell you on listening to it, I have seen Elf probably 15 times in my life. Banner had never seen it prior to this watching.
What? Oh yeah, I knew that. How
So
did you like it? Spoiler.
I can't
just a little tease. A little tease.
It is a roller coaster ride.
I'm
In only
excited.
Banner fashion, he goes from fucking let's shut this shit off to like, why wasn't there a sequel to this? We need more. To, is he really going to eat that spaghetti with the syrup?
Cycly, what do you think of Elf?
I love it. I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
What about you?
I like Elf, but I think people need to chill on Elf.
I'll-
It's
I'll
not a
give you- I'll
Christmas
agree with that.
story.
I'll
It's
agree with
not
that.
Christmas Vacation. It's not Home Alone.
Yes.
But hey, it's
it's a good one. It's not a
yeah.
great one. Yeah.
It's
I'm
not
on board
Hulk
with that.
Hogan, but it's Macho Man, and that's
It-
still good.
And
But
that's
it's not.
fine.
It's
It
not
is a-
like top tier. It's not.
It is
I'm
It's
with that.
almost.
it's a one time a year watch for me for sure around the holidays. And not to totally bury the lead, but listen to the commentary because it really does fall apart the last 20 minutes when the North Pole gets reincorporated.
Yeah, and
Like-
you have to the Christmas spirit through Central Park and
Right. All that stuff is
Yeah.
where it really loses me. It doesn't
great
stick with
cast
me.
though. James Caan, Mary Steenburgen,
Peter Dinklage.
yeah, Peter Dinklage.
No, yeah, Peter Dinklage. And
Uh,
Zoe Deschanel, right? I always thought that
Zoe
was like someone
Deschanel.
told me it was Katy
And
Perry. The
Who's
first time I saw it.
the big black guy who's in Couples Retreat and all that?
Yeah, I can't.
The boss. He's good
Kyle
in it.
Gass and Andy Richter are the two writers, or like the guys, the marketing guys at his firm.
I was glad it came out though because a great Christmas movie has not come out in a while.
I was about
That-
to make that comment.
Yeah.
It's probably the best Christmas movie that's come out recently.
in the new millennium.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, I will give that.
I
yeah.
love the night before, you know that, but
I love Office Christmas Party. I think that one is very vastly underrated. It's fucking hilarious, actually. But
you and I just love T.J. Miller before he went totally fucking insane. Before he totally lost his shit.
we could probably get him on pod now. I guarantee he has no money.
He'd be like, "I'll come on if you'll give me like a 5-minute segment where I can just apologize." We're like, "I don't know, TJ. That's
Yeah, man.
just asking a lot." A few other things real quick. I watched The Good Liar on HBO Max. I don't know if you guys saw this. Ian McKellen and Helen Mirren in it. It's based on a book, and Ian McKellen is, Geiger, I think you'd really like this. Ian McKellen is like this con man who purposely meets Helen Mirren on like one of these like elderly people dating sites. She has like I can't remember how she has her wealth, but she's either like a famous author or like a really well-esteemed professor at Oxford. And so he makes up like this whole fake backstory and approaches her. And his goal is to try and like woo her and get into her will since they're both widowed. And I won't spoil anything, but you find out along the way that there are some other plans in motion.
How long's the movie?
An hour 50 maybe.
No,
That's not bad.
I need it to be at least 5 hours. I need all the after credit scenes where Ian McKellen and Helen Mirren and like Ian McKellen's in a fedora and they just talk about acting and how it was in the 60s. Like I would watch that all fucking day because those two are. He's such a gentleman and she's such a lady. I just
Yeah.
want to hear them talk about back in the day when people treated people with respect and how acting used to be.
Dude, Ian
Would you-
McKellen does have some great McKellenisms. Like their first date, he shows up and she goes, "Oh, I was worried you were going to be late." He goes, "Not a day in my life."
Would you say it's worth it? Because just by the cast, it sounds worth it.
I think it's worth it. I don't want to spoil anything, but let me just say this. The ending, there are some good twists. There's a couple twists where you're like, didn't need that extra twist, but thank you, I think.
Here's a twist on top of your twist.
Right. You're like, okay, I don't know if we needed that one. Doesn't ruin anything, but it's like
Was it
almost
M.
like
Night Shyamalan?
it's like have you ever spent the night at a kid's house in like 5th grade and he just keeps asking, "Are you having fun?" You're like, "Can you fucking relax? We have pizza and Mario Kart. I don't need you to keep checking in with me every 30 seconds." That's like kind of how the movie ends. But I think it's definitely worth a watch. And Geiger and I are McKellen heads, so
I love me some McKellen, especially when he plays like an old stuffy, just like I'm wise beyond my years, man.
Yeah, you guys don't like Lord of the Rings. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
But I started audibly laughing, and my fiance's like, "What is funny about that?" But she goes, "I thought you were going to be late." Stay in my
Do you think
life.
McKellen ever read, like, not even a chapter, a page of one of those books?
He doesn't read the book.
Of Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Oh no, he was a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. Yeah,
He actually read the books.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the original Gandalf was supposed to go to Christopher Lee, but Christopher Lee was too old at that point, so they made him.
But he's still in the movie.
Sauron. Yeah, but he had a character that didn't have as much to do.
It's just like, I just don't know if I have the strength.
The last thing we want Gandalf the Grey looking is old, you know?
Christopher Lee's like, no, it's fine. No, you're too old. Let's get me and McKellen. Like, what?
You're
It's like
too old
Ozzie Smith. He's like, I can DH, but I just don't know if I can play shortstop anymore. I just don't know. I can't flip. I don't know.
If you're too
Can't do
old
it.
to play Gandalf the Grey, you're dead. And even then, maybe you could do it. One other one I watched. Oh my God, both you guys are gonna want to check this one out. Hour 21 minutes on Netflix. True crime documentary. Fucking, I'm a pig in sloth when these things come out.
This is the one I watched that I told you. Yeah.
Oh, you did watch it?
Yeah.
Okay, well then let's talk about it because I know you watched the other one too on my list.
I watched it too. Yep.
An American Murder: The Family Next Door. Geiger. Woo! You're gonna love this one. First off, Cycly, before we get into the plot, and Geiger, we'll try not to spoil it for you or our listeners, but the thing I loved about this, first documentary I've ever seen that is composed entirely of police footage because they got all the body cam footage. All of it.
It was the way it was filmed made it everything.
They have every body cam investigating everyone involved with the disappearance. Every
all her Facebook videos.
Yeah. So
all
Geiger,
the cameras.
Geiger, the story is this girl named, and this is already going to sell you, S-A, her name is S-H-A-N-N-A-N. How do you think you pronounce that?
S-H-A...
N-N-A-N.
I thought it was O-N at the end.
Shauna?
Well, you would think Shannon,
Yeah.
but it's Shannon.
Okay.
Caucasian woman living in, where are they, Minneapolis?
Colorado, I thought.
That's right.
Same thing. Okay.
And she has the idyllic life, Matt. She has two beautiful young daughters, a husband who works out all the time. She works for Cycly. They didn't say it explicitly, but it sounded like
it is. I looked it up. It's multi-level marketing.
Okay, I was gonna say
she's definitely
They described it. They described it as like a. How do they
sales? They always say sales. It's
And I just remember going, okay, bro.
Yeah.
She's just like a chick that does sales marketing. That's kind of hot. Okay.
Yeah, and she returns home one night. She actually gets back from a business trip pretty late. Her friend drops her off at like 1:30 in the morning, and she's never heard from again. And her husband works on an oil rig site, I believe, so he goes to work at like 5 in the morning, and he gets a call at like noon the next day saying that she missed her doctor's appointment that she had, I think, at 10. And things move quick. Like, Cycly, correct me if I'm wrong, but the whole case is basically solved within less than 72 hours, right?
Yeah, it's like 3 days. Yep.
So the case is solved.
Yes, it's solved.
It's solved.
But I kind of
like solved, like you guys.
It was big news. Yeah.
I won't tell you what they find, but everything is tied up.
Okay. I will say I did recall, like, I didn't when the started watching the documentary, maybe you were the same way. About 20-30 minutes in, I started remembering the actual story because it was definitely headline news. It definitely was news all over the country when it happened. So because it's fucking tragic.
And when did this happen? What, like 2015?
Yeah, 2 years ago, not long ago. Yeah,
I don't. Maybe I'll remember it. I don't ever really watch news, but my sports station does a news segment, and they'll like say like weird shit sometimes like this. So.
It's pretty wild, and by the end of it, you're gonna be, I want you to speak for yourself. I was just, even though I knew it at the end, I was just so angry, like how disgusting and people are and humans can be.
And they do a good job because they set up quite a few different angles that seem viable. Like, I won't name any of the people again to spoil it, but they set up like probably 3 possible scenarios of what happened. And then obviously everything resolves itself in the end, but you're like, you know what? Any one of these is viable. Like, any one of these could have been what happened.
Also, just advice out there, even though, not trying to say anything, but fucking lawyer up. Just lawyer up.
Yeah, whoever you are, don't talk to the
lawyer up
without
always when in doubt, lawyer up. I'm just always gonna say that. Okay, like that was infuriating.
I hate
even
when people
though-
say I don't need a lawyer because I have nothing to hide. I'm
yeah,
like, yeah,
no,
because
it doesn't matter.
I say, so
even
you
if have-
believe that there's not one innocent person in prison? Like,
Yeah,
if,
no,
if you want to
that's-
live in that world, go ahead. But
they don't care. It's up. They always say it's up to the lawyers and the courts to decide. They're not on your side. Not that I'm not talking about this specific situation. I'm just talking about in general. This movie brings up that factor of like, wow, you are dumb. You are really dumb for real.
And I'm guessing this just came out because Netflix knows how fucked up I am, and usually when there's a new true crime doc, they're like,
Netflix. I mean, like we talked about Social Dilemma a couple weeks ago on an episode, but Netflix knows is like, hey, Geiger might like this because this will make him not trust anyone and not want to leave his house. I'm like, yes, I would. Netflix, please.
yeah. And
Feed it
for
to
me, they're like, hey, so something fucked up happened in a small town. I'm like, just stop and play the damn thing. Okay?
I get it.
Quit talking about it.
I was like the runtime, like again, like it was short, but because of the content, it doesn't feel like it's well worth the watch. I mean, it's all hour and 20 minutes of it is pretty nonstop.
And it's good because, again, they give you enough to theorize on everything, but unlike Making a Murder, which obviously like we're living through the process, the legal process, and obviously the investigative process, although that's probably not happening anymore. This one has a clear-cut resolution. You know the ending, like everything is figured out, what happened to her, where she went, all this stuff, who was complicit. So that part too, just as a viewer, and also as someone who, like, a citizen of Earth, you know, seeing things resolve themselves is always a little bit.
Netflix has stepped up their game. Drunk talk. I just want to have a drunk idea real quick. I just fucking came up with this.
Drunk Matt's moments.
Around March 16th is when they March 13th I think is when they shut the NBA down and we like shut the country down and stuff. So this is like one of the biggest things in our country's history. I think it needs to be a holiday. I think every like March 16th for a week we should have basically a pandemic week where no one goes to work and everything's shut down, and then Netflix just drops like so much fucking shit that week.
Damn.
I love
Yeah,
it.
let's
Just imagine,
positive,
Jeff, like how much potting we get done. It was like, it's pandemic week. No one's going to work. Nothing's open besides grocery stores and gas stations. And basically, I mean, it's almost like you need to shut down airports too, where you just have to stay home and you just watch Netflix and drink and fucking barbecue and be around your family.
Well, and you could turn it into a big monetary thing too, like delivery places. We could say, hey, everyone order from a delivery place twice this week. You
Yes.
know,
I love it.
let's make a pact.
We
That's
should
a great
fucking do
drunk
that.
Matt
That'd
moment.
Make a negative into a positive. That's what we do on this podcast.
It's a beautiful thing.
After
All right,
we
last thing I
smoke,
watched.
Do a bunch of other stuff.
Last thing I watched before we all talk about the one we watched together. Cycly, you watched this too. Is Class Action Park, the documentary on HBO Max. Matt, have you seen the trailer for this?
I don't have HBO Max.
Okay.
I
If
do,
you
but
wanna-
I haven't signed up for it yet. I think I actually get it for free, but I haven't
You
signed
need to
up.
get on it because The Good Liar's on it and this. So
I do, yeah.
The premise is Action Park was this theme park in New Jersey in like the late 1980s, early 1990s. And they just didn't give a fuck about like any safety regulations. That was kind of their like appeal, right? Like, come here, you might get hurt because we don't really give a shit on our rides. And the movie just gets into like how crazy the place was. It was like working at the golf course in Caddyshack, like the employees and like the drug use and the parties and like how wild the theme park was. And then it gets into the opposite side of it. Like the owner is this insane millionaire tycoon who literally like fucks with the local government constantly to keep this place open, makes up his own insurance company that isn't even real to prove he has insurance. And then obviously some tragic things happen at the park too. But Cycly, you watched this before me. So it's been probably a month or two maybe, but what do you remember about Class Action Park?
Yeah, same thing. It was just kind of like, I think you and I said last time we talked about it was just, I think I told you it was definitely one of the places that we would have probably gone to if we were teenagers, because they market it like that. You want to be cool. Like everyone went, and it was, you want to get hurt almost. It was like a bragging point. Like they even talk about, they talk to actors now who remember, growing up in the New York area who had went, and they said they would talk about like, yeah, you got a scar. You always bragged about it. And the way it ends, obviously, you laugh about the silliness of it, the regulations of it, and then it, has a little turn on you to the seriousness of actually what went down. And it's It was really good. I mean, it was really well done. It was, again, short. Like, I think it's easy to watch and has that 80s, 90s nostalgia, and then kind of heartbreaking at points.
Yeah, it was an interesting look at like kind of the latchkey kids era, where it was like kids would leave in the morning, the parents would never know where they were, and then they would probably just come home at supper time. You know, like that was sort of what Action Park, I think, embodied. And I mean, one of the most genius titles I've ever heard of in Class Action Park. As a lawyer, you have to appreciate that.
And honestly, like, how awesome, you know, the people who work there, all the teenagers, because this was literally run by teenagers. I mean, the parties they would have when they closed, I'm like, we would have had to be there. It's just like, you can't fault these kids for being kids. You just wish there were some actual, you know, governing bodies who could have made it a little safer.
So, Geiger, there was a legend, like at the closing of the park each year, like the last day they were allowed to be open until like it got too cold, they would have obviously just like an epic fucking rager. And the old employees now that are like 40 or 50 telling like stories of this party and shit that would happen, you're just like, dude, there's no fucking way that
how many people who got pregnant at these parties?
Yeah, like
now Disney World, like you got to look a certain way and you got to act a certain way and all this shit.
Right. So I think you'd like it. And again, as is, I always enjoy with a documentary, it's a quick in and out, hour 15, hour 20 minutes. So, all right, last thing we all watched. Matt, you want to lead it off? I think you watched this thing first.
I did, and I've been excited about this. I actually told all the bros on the pod. The whole time all this 2020 stuff has happened, I'm like, when is South Park coming out? Now, I was very excited about this pandemic episode. I like this pandemic episode. At the end, I'm disappointed. I thought this was the first of the season. I didn't think it was just a one-off. I guess
pandemic special, Matt.
But there's no more. When's the new season coming out? We haven't got a new season of South Park for a really long time.
Yeah, it's weird because they do normally come out in October. And I know they did get renewed for 2 more. Let's be real. South Park's going to be on till we're dead because it's too easy to make.
But I thought this was the first episode. Anyway, so let's talk about the episode. I liked it. Now, in 2020, there's so much shit going on. And everyone, depending on, you know, your life situation or whatever happens, has one thing that you're like, I want to see South Park make fun of this. You're probably going to be disappointed because they touch on everything.
Very briefly, though, I felt like,
yes,
right?
Well, because, I mean, Jeff, in an hour, you can't touch on everything that happened. They bumped it from half an hour to an hour.
I don't know how you would even try to do this in half an hour.
Like, that's what I wanted this to be, like a 4-parter where you just hit on one thing, like, each time, because usually they just pick one thing and hammer it to the ground. This is more of a Family Guy episode where we're going to touch on something, go to the next thing, touch on something, go to the next thing. However, I enjoyed it a ton. I loved Cartman taking advantage of it.
Oh my God.
Because I feel
pretending his camera's freezing.
Yeah, because I mean that's so true. Because during a lot of times, I mean, people in the pandemic are telling you to stay home, and some of them are because they want to care for their loved ones, and some of them are like, dude, I kind of like my life because my commute sucks. You know, I can go to Walmart during the day because my boss isn't right there in the cubicle next to me and stuff. I liked that they killed Token. I liked that the cops were teachers, then went back. That was hilarious. Butter's speech was probably my favorite fucking thing when he was talking about, it was March 16th. I was going to go to Build-A-Bear. Then he said it was April. Then it was, it's fucking October. I'm still, what the hell am I going to do?
Hardest I laughed the whole episode is when Jimmy goes, but Build-A-Bear is by appointment only and no more than a party size of 4. He's memorized the commercials.
I mean, they did a good job, man. I thought they, did what they usually do. They weren't leaning toward one way or the other. They're just making fun of. I as a South Park fan, I was really surprised they said to go out and vote at the end because they've never done that before. Like that's the one thing I'm like, dude, I just want you to make fun of shit. I don't, want you to do that. They broke the fourth wall, which is very interesting. I've never seen them do that before. But other than that, man, I thought it was fantastic. Just disappointed. I thought this was the beginning of like a 12 episode season, but this is it.
They could have done a whole season on this. Maybe they were just like, I don't know if we really want to do that deep of a dive. What do you think, Cycling?
Yeah, I would. I think I came in with a little too high of expectations. because it is South Park. And, I kind of think, again, they needed more time. I thought it was going to be more of a season. I knew it wasn't by the time I watched it. But the way South Park does everything, or just Trey and Matt, like, whether it's the South Park movies or Team America or the Book of Mormon, I mean, they are just fantastic. And I think my expectations were so high for this that I was cracking up and laughing, and I loved it. But I was a little disappointed in the end. I think it was we didn't get enough. It was almost too short. It was moving on really quickly. And so that's really what I'll say. I mean, you guys already hit on the best point. I think for me, the token getting shot by the cops was so on.
He wasn't even in the conversation
2020.
either.
He wasn't even involved.
And they only shoot him.
And
Yeah.
and they're like, got him. And God, it was too real. But it was like, fuck. If anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be South Park. And fucking loved it. I loved all the marijuana stuff. And I mean, it got over the top like South Park does. But I think for me, at the end of it, it either needed to be longer, or if you're going to do it shorter, just have it be a mini series.
We didn't even talk about Randy and Mickey Mouse.
Oh
that
my
was
God.
brilliant too.
That was-
They actually tied it in to
know.
China, which was
Yeah.
brilliant.
Which was so well done.
Funniest part for me was at the end when the cops get their guns back and the guitar riff starts in the
It
background.
was a Motley Crue "Kickstart My Heart," which was fucking awesome.
Kickstart my heart! And then they're driving down tanks like, fuck yeah, down the street. Of stuff. I agree with Matt, though. I think it did what South Park does so well is we're obviously in a very politically divisive climate, and South Park says, look, we're going to show everyone that you need to laugh at yourself. Because I think Matt Stone and Trey Parker have said in multiple interviews, they're like, what is your political stance on? And they go, dude, politics are so dumb. Like, we just make fun of everyone. And they really have. Like, that's why we were all so mad when Isaac Hayes left, because he had no problem making fun of every other religion easily. And then when it came time, Scientology's turn to step up to the plate, he was offended by it, right? And I think this is what we needed in this time. I'm with you guys, though. Like, there's South Park almost, I bet the conversation was, the hardest part was like, what do we exclude from this? Because with their comedic sensibility and what's happened in the world the past 8 months, it's like, there's almost too much here, right? It's like, you could even take one small part of what we've gone through and make that an entire episode.
Can I say one thing if we're in a safe place?
I guess.
Are we getting tired of Integrity Weed? Like, I like Randy episodes, but like it seems like it's Randy seasons now. I think he's like Quagmire.
He's
he doesn't
best
need
as
to
a
be the
side
star
character.
every time.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's why I wonder, like, again, I don't know the details of when their next season comes out, what their renewal is, but obviously the show is sort of infamous for how quick they can turn around a season. Like, they could do a 20-episode season in probably 2 months. And write it and get it edited and made. So I don't know what the plans are, but it did make me realize how much I miss South Park. And I'm not going to say it's appointment viewing for me, because I think Matt's a better at like keeping up with the last season. I only saw a couple episodes. But every time I watch the show, man, I'm like, this is hilarious. And now it is an incredibly acquired taste. Like, my fiance got through 10 minutes of it, and once Randy was having sex with a bat, she was like, all right, and I was like, I get that, I get it, but I'm in.
But that's how AIDS started. So they like tied that in, which is fucking great. There's so much. It's weird that this show, if you watch season 1, it just started off as like a Simpsons but X-rated, and now it's basically like a political pop culture phenomenon. It's so weird. Whenever you see something that's like, this is so stupid, I can't believe the world's this stupid, I can't wait for South Park to show how stupid it is.
But that's why it will last for forever, because that's all the show is now.
Yes,
I'm not trying to like downgrade it. That's literally, it's just going to be commenting on everything happening. So why end it when it's so easy and cheap to make?
I also do love, and this has been like a great comedic trope of South Park for probably the last decade or so, but it is funny when, like, obviously the kids, like Kyle, Stan, Cartman, Kenny Butters, all of them, they speak and deal with like adult scenarios, but it's so funny when they revert back to being like third graders. Like when they're at Build-A-Bear dealing with really serious shit, and they keep saying like, we actually need employee assistance for this. He's trying to make the fun.
Struggled with the bear. The filling was so great.
And
I love
Butters
Cartman's
like
6 feet stick too. That was
oh my
fucking
God,
great.
That was so great. That was fucking incredible. I'm so excited to go to
See, why don't we get all? We need a season. I'm with you, Matt. We need a whole season of that.
There's just so much more meat on that bone. Like they could do a whole season just on 2020, and we still have fucking like 3 months left.
What else are they doing? There's nothing else to do, right?
I don't
fucking
know.
Season.
I thought that this would just be the start of the season of 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeff, they could do a whole episode on the Murder Hornet.
Yeah,
Fucking
easily. And that was like 1 week. Tiger King hasn't even been touched.
Tiger King hasn't been mentioned. There's so much fucking shit.
Think about what they would do with Carol Baskin.
Trump getting coronavirus. Like,
yeah, they missed that by a week.
There's so much shit they can do.
And they can literally do it the day of. They've done that before. They've like literally added something from the night before into their shows. Like,
I love how the way to get a hold of Mr. Garrison is Stan pretends he's Mr. Slave. He gets right through. Mr. Slave, and let him through. All right, anything else you guys
understand why Garrison's Trump?
They developed that through a couple seasons, and they like
there was the whole
they did, but I don't understand the connection because Garrison's not like a rich, like because Hillary they just had Hillary, Obama they just had Obama. I don't know if Trump would have.
They've said before that Trump is too easy. Like it's not fun doing Trump as Trump because it's literally just like
he hard to make
makes
fun
of himself. Yeah, because he makes fun of himself or he is a character. So I called an interview with them saying like, how do you do Trump? He already is a caricature of whatever it could be. So he would be what South Park would do to someone, but he's
I'll just say as a fan of old school Saturday Night Live, like anything Alec Baldwin does, I'm just like, this isn't that good because Trump is just funny on his fucking own the way he does stuff. It's not like Bush or Obama or Clinton or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It is true.
I remember the Hillary Clinton episode where she has like a nuclear bomb in her vagina.
The snook.
Snook in her sniz.
Snook in her
sniz. All right. Anything you guys want to touch on or mention before we move on to the last part of our show?
No.
Perfect. Matt, did you have a question you wanted to ask since Brian isn't here?
Bruh, do you even live, bruh?
We have to do our next man up, when he's not here.
Sorry, Jared Stidham taking snaps now.
Yeah, fucking with 1 day of prep. What am I supposed to do? That brings us to the question and answer part of our show called Do You Even Lift, Bruh? Where we leave you with a question that we want to discuss. And today, Halloween is upon us, and usually costumes are dominated by hit movies from the year that resonated with people. But because of obvious reasons, that will not really be happening this year. So I want to ask both you guys, and I kind of asked Matt this off the top, but if you had to go to a party this year and were forced to drink and have fun with people, what would you go dressed as? Cycly, any ideas that have been floating through your head? You got to get a little more creative this year than in years past.
Wow, I did not even think about this. Maybe like a sexy vaccine, and I can go around asking people if they want to be penetrated or something like that.
That's good. Can I just
be a chick to do that though?
Do I?
I guess not.
What girl is doing the penetration?
Can I just say anything Tiger King this year is like Matt? It was like Harley Quinn 2 years ago. It's like the two. Like, don't do that.
You can't. Because so much has happened in 2020 anyway. It feels like it was 5 years ago. You're like, what? You're still on the Tiger King, dude? Come on.
That's true. Geiger, how about you? What are you going as?
See, I always like to ruffle feathers on Halloween. So you asked, so I'm going to tell you. Right now, current events, what are we, a couple weeks away? Just go as Mike Pence with a huge fly on your fucking head would be fucking awesome. I would probably get a
way too big.
Way too big.
Way too big. You're like banging into people.
I'd probably get a blue robe and a wig and douse it in water and draw wrinkles on my face and go as Nancy Pelosi. That'd be interesting.
Okay.
But also,
I thought you just said you can't cross-dress though.
This one's
Hell.
Jeff. This one's too soon, but I mean, you could go as Kobe with like bags packed, like you're going on a.
Please don't.
No.
I love Kobe. You asked me this question.
I'm Mr. Denver deals with me all the time.
You're basically South Park. You're like, I'll say it. I'll go there.
But
Matt would even be at the party like.
You gotta have about 10 people laugh at you and 8 people just look at you in total fucking disgust. That's a great costume.
Matt would be at the party like, look, I'm wearing it, and even I think it's fucked up.
You'd be You'd be lucky it's 2020. Everyone's like, look, this is our only social outing. If it wasn't, I'd beat the shit out of you. But since it's my only time to go have a good time, you're fine.
You could,
You know what?
you could put a mask on your dick and go up to chicks, be like, "Hey, can I cover your face with this?" That'd be a good one.
That's pretty good. So I had written down an answer, but I changed my mind. I think this is the year to go as something that just reminds us of simpler times, but act like it's current. I want to go as Left Shark from the Katy Perry sequence.
I love Left Shark.
And then I'll be like, what? Is this not, what, did something happen this year that's more current than this?
You should just go as the Hanging Chad at this point.
What a sad commentary on our social attention span. I'll go as Left Shark Cycle, you go as Hanging Chad.
I love it. I'm so in for that.
Geiger, Cycle and I once went as Halloween as Siamese twins. We had sewn a shirt together. Which
Going to
really
the bathroom was.
Yeah, I was
an
going to say, really did
experience.
not think that through at a college party.
Did one of you meet a chick and the other one's friend didn't like you, and you're like, "Dude, we got to cut this apart"?
No, we just continued. We had no choice.
Yeah, I
Back
was
to
like,
Jeff's bedroom.
It would be like real life. I told her, like, look, if you can't accept my twin who cannot be surgically removed from me, then I don't really think there's anything else.
I just read a book. It's fine.
My best is probably I went as Macho Man. I had Slim Jims, but like literally at 7 o'clock when we were having dinner as Macho Man, I stayed in character the entire night.
How like
You have to.
destroyed was your throat the next day trying to?
It
talk
hurt
about
really bad. Especially
But
I
then-
smoked some of the devil's lettuce, if you know what I mean, too, that night. So didn't help.
I think I've actually seen pictures of you in that costume, and it's
Right.
no expense was spared.
Oh yeah, cowboy hat. I had the chaps that cowboys wear, but I put them around my shoulders for the tassels.
And you cut up the shirt too, right? Wasn't that kind of his thing? It was like cutting
Yeah,
up either the
He like
sleeve
cut off
or
the back of his shirt, had macho on there, had spandex. Ladies, the junk wasn't all me. A couple tube socks in there. So what?
Yeah, I mean, if we're not primping, what are we even doing?
You
Hard
don't have to
always
announce
has to be
that.
fast as long
Girls
as it
don't
looks
go, I'm
fast.
wearing a push-up, man. Just act like it is there.
Yeah. You're a marketing major. That's what we do. Jesus. All right, guys, before we leave the people for episode 129, what are our parting thoughts? Cycle, you can go first.
Just wear a mask so we can end this shit, please.
At Halloween, we mean.
At Halloween.
I don't want to
no
see your,
no other day.
I don't want to see your ugly face, is what I'm saying. Tim. Geiger, how about you?
I always say to freeze your eggs, and Banner always says to move over for emergency vehicles. But you know what's fucked up, Jeff, is if we started this pod 4 years ago, if one of us just said wash your hands, we would have been able to
damn
trademark
it.
that and made a shit ton of money.
Go back in time and tell people to wash their fucking hands.
The most concerning part is when people say, like, now I wash my hands. Like, well, what were you doing before after wiping your ass? And then eating the all-you-can-eat shrimp at Golden Corral.
Smell your fingers like Tommy Boy from the gas station.
Don't do that. Don't do that. All right. For our legal counsel, Ronnie Cycling, and our enforcer in the paint, Matt Geiger, I'm the mayor, Jeff Hornacek, and we are the Bro 4 Squad podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening to us. Happy Halloween, although I'm sure we'll talk to you again before then. Follow us on Twitter at Bro 4 Squad. If you type in Bro 4 Squad as 3 separate words on Letterboxd, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, pretty much anywhere you listen to your podcasts, you can find us there, and check out our website and the soon-to-drop Ronnie Cycling Squad blog, although it might be out by the time you're listening to this, on our website at bro4squad.com. Until next time, we'll see you out there trick-or-treating. And if you get an extra Kit Kat, put aside for me.
What if quarantine week was during March Madness, too?
Be fucking on. That'd be kick-ass, bro.
No. It'd be kick-ass, bro.
Well, it was originally, except it got canceled. So unfortunately,
The OG one was.
the original quarantine week.
The OG was.
God, that one was no fun.
It's like